how to buy commercial real estate or industrial real estate with zero money out of pocket that cash flows between 5 and 10 grand a month. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break down a deal for you guys from A to Z. It's a deal that took zero money out of our own pocket. I'm gonna break it down for you so you guys understand exactly how everything played out. And then I'm gonna spend the second half of this kind of breaking down exactly the different ways that you guys can go about closing on real estate deals, putting together real estate deals to do this for yourself. Because I guarantee there's deals just like this one that I'm about to talk about in your local community or somewhere around you. And if you don't know of any, there's gonna be somebody around you or in your circle that probably does know about deals like this. There's millions of buildings that are vacant or abandoned or full of weeds that are just dilapidated buildings that are distressed that you guys can capitalize on and do what we've done. This is not something that I'm talking about from theory. We're closing on a property in Texas this week that is a dilapidated property. It's a big laydown yard. There's a massive value add opportunity for us to go in there and create revenue from that property. So we're closing on deals just like this one that I'm telling you about. This is gonna be a self-storage complex, but there's deals just like this in the market today for you guys to go and find. Without further ado, let's kind of jump into the specs of this deal. You can look up this property address and you'll see that we own it and you'll see how much we paid for it. You can see a lot of the specs on the property. This is a real property in our portfolio today. So 1129 Interstate Place. It was a 9,600 square foot self-storage complex that was completely abandoned. It was fully dilapidated. So this is what it looked like. This is only a portion of it, but it was 9,600 square feet of self-storage, fully vacant on about 2 acres. It looked like a piece of junk. As you can see, it was really dilapidated. Clearly there was nobody leasing any units out of this property. So this property, when we bought it, it was 9,600 square feet, and the purchase price, this was an off-market deal, by the way. We literally found this deal by driving through our local neighborhood. We drove by down one of the streets, one of the partners in the self-storage business, his name's Denny Sixberry. He found this deal literally just by driving around, and he just saw that it was vacant. It looked really disgusting. It was distressed. And so he started digging in. He used an app that we like to use called Landglide to find out who owned it. And then from there, he used softwares or websites like True People Search, White Pages, Batch Leads to go and find that owner's number and call him.
All right, check it out. When you're watching these videos, we know that you guys have questions that aren't answered. Might be about business, might be about real estate. Well, guess what? We can answer all those questions that aren't getting answered in this video. So shoot us a text at 928-605-4335 because there's questions that need to be answered, and this dude and I will answer those questions for you. 928-605-4335. Shoot us a text.
Once we got in contact with the owner for this off-market deal, we ended up getting it under contract for $280,000. That doesn't mean that we took $280,000 out of our pocket to go close this deal. We used hard money at 10% interest only. We knew that we were gonna need $280,000 to buy the deal, and we also knew that we were gonna need about $70,000 to go and fix this up. We have a full in-house construction crew and company, and we got materials for dirt cheap because we get them at cost. Our all-in was gonna be $350,000. What we did is we have some relationships with hard money lenders. And when I say relationships with hard money lenders, I don't mean some massive company that you're gonna find on the internet. We just built really good relationships with people in our local community that knew we were buying real estate. Those people, since they saw our track record and since they knew who we were, they were willing to lend the money to us. We didn't have to come out of pocket with anything. All we did was we just approached these people, explained the deal, explained the opportunity, showed them our projections, and then because of that, they gave us the money that we needed to close this deal. Now, you guys might be thinking, I don't know anybody that has $350,000. I don't know anybody that has $500,000. I don't know anybody that has $1 million. My question to you would be, how many times have you brought a deal to somebody that is a smoking deal? A deal that's gonna, number one, appreciate a ton once you buy it and value add it, and number two, a deal that's gonna cash flow and have more than enough money left over to cover whatever payment you're gonna be making to them? That would be my question to you, because I guarantee that there's somebody either in your circle that is a primary first degree connection or a second degree connection, meaning a friend or a family member or a friend of a family member or a friend of a friend that you can get connected to that has the money to do this. We'll break down exactly some of the other opportunities and ways that we do deals with other people's money on the back. I'll go over what you guys can do to find money to close deals. With this deal, it was $350,000 and we bought it with hard money. So the property itself, when we bought it, was 2 acres, 9,600 square feet, and there were 46 units that we could rent out once we stabilized it. And the best part about it, it was abandoned. Just so you guys know, commercial light industrial, unlike residential, it's not really valued based off of comps. Banks, hard money lenders, investors, they don't value commercial buildings off of just what other commercial buildings in the area sold for. They value it based off of revenue. So we were able to get this for such a good deal because there was zero revenue coming into this property when we bought it. Plus, we knew that because of the 2 acres, we were going to be able to do a value add expansion. We were going to be able to go and construct more self-storage units around it to increase the revenue. This addition that we knew we were going to be able to do came out to be about 25,730 square feet, and it was going to be an addition of 108 units. This is what the property actually looks like today. You can see that strip down the middle. That was the very first original unit that we purchased. Everything that you see that looks like a U shape around it, that was the value add that we were able to go in and do. When we bought this property, we obviously had to put money into it. So we did. We went and put money into it, and then up here you can see that the revenue, the post-rehab income was $7,600 a month, and the value was $700,000, which was an appraisal from the bank. So we went and we turned $350,000 into $700,000, and we didn't have any money out of our pockets. We didn't have any cash tied up in it. The bank, because it was essentially a free and clear property, we had obviously the hard money, but we had enough equity sitting in that property to be able to go and get a construction loan for $1.4 million. So what we did is after the property was stabilized and it was making that $6,700 a month and it was valued at $700,000, we were able to leverage that to a bank or go to a bank, show it to the bank, get an appraisal, and then show them our projections and everything that we were going to do in the construction process to increase the value of the property and generate more revenue. And they were willing to give us a $1.4 million construction loan out a 20-year amortization term at 7.5% interest. That was the loan term we got. So our payment on that was going to be $11,278.30. That was what we ended up getting from the bank. When we went to the bank, the best part about this entire deal was we were able to pay off all the hard money with that construction loan and have plenty of money left over to go and finish whatever construction we needed to value add the property or to increase obviously the amount of square footage and units we were going to have. So what I'm going to do now is I'll kind of break down what it looked like right after we did the value add, which took about 90 to 120 days. And then I'm going to show you exactly what the property's doing today. And this is all stuff that was pulled directly from P&Ls. This isn't made up numbers. This is directly from our P&Ls. The post-rehab income, we were able to get the property stabilized at $6,700 a month. Our expenses, including property taxes, insurance, common area maintenance, all of those things, management, $1,607.50 per month. The interest payment, like I said, we bought this with hard money, so $350,000. Our yearly payment to that owner or to that hard money lender was $35,000 a year. So $35,000 divided by 12 comes down to $2,916.67. So that's what we were paying every single month to our investor. Our profit after expenses and interest left over was $2,175.83 per month of cash flow, money in the bank. 46 units, 9,600 square feet. Our cash flow just from that part of the property was $2,175.83 per month. After we invested the money that we got from the bank into the construction and built out that U shape, it was about 25,730 square feet and 108 units. Our revenue today is $28,592 a month, and that's at 97% occupancy. Our expenses, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, comes out to $5,974.20. Our loan payment is $11,278.30, just like I said over here. And so when you deduct that from our revenue, our profit is $11,339.50. So in total today, we have 154 units, and it's 35,330 square feet of property, of space that we have. The key here, the best part about real estate, is the equity that you build over the course of time. There's about $162 million of assets under management currently in the portfolio. Our loan to value on that, I couldn't tell you the exact percentage. It's about, I believe, 45%, but we have $106 million of equity just sitting there. That's equity that we can pull out to go do more deals. It's equity that we can leverage and ultimately use to potentially own or finance out of the portfolio if we want to exit. But there's $106 million of equity that's sitting there in the portfolio today. And this property specifically, our current value that was appraised is $3,850,000. And so when you deduct the $1.4 million from the loan from this $3.85 million, that means we have $2.45 million of equity just sitting in this property. And we have the cash flow to support, if we wanted to, pulling some of this equity to go do more deals, which would mean we would have zero money out of pocket in those new deals because we could pull it directly from this deal. The thing about this that is so important to recognize recognize is when you buy real estate like this that is cash flowing, our tenants in this storage facility are the ones that are paying down the debt. So every single year when you make a loan payment, you're paying the interest on that loan and you're paying the principal down. So every single year, this 2.45 million, it grows. It grows every single year, every single month. Every single time that we make a payment, it's growing, and we're not taking any money out of our pocket to go and pay that loan. It's simply being paid from all of our tenants. You saw what it looked like before. There are deals sitting in your neighborhood somewhere. There's an old lady, an old man, whoever it is. They've owned the building for a long time. The story is always the same. It's generally somebody in their mid to late 70s, maybe their 80s or 90s. Whether if it's a storage complex, their husband or wife or their family built it, and then they've just mismanaged it for years. They become friends with their tenants. They never raise rates, or like in this scenario, they literally just let it fall apart and it just becomes nothing. It becomes valueless to them. What we end up doing is we go in and we build a personable relationship with these people. We call them, we send them letters, whatever it takes to get our foot in the door. And then what we do is we just build a relationship with them and we show them past deals we've done. We show them future deals we're doing, and we explain to them to some extent what we're gonna do to take care of their property. We're very transparent saying, you know, we're gonna have to buy this property and put a lot of money into it to get it to where we need it to be. And that's why we're able to negotiate such good deals, is because our thing that we are really good at is justifying our offer. Why would somebody sell it for below retail or below market value? You guys are probably thinking, I would never sell something for below the market. You never know what kind of situation some people are in. Sometimes they need cash. Sometimes they just are tired of owning it. But when you can go in and build a relationship, build a connection, and figure out what their pain points are, you can use those to then go in and negotiate a good deal for yourself. That's what we do time and time again. We build really good relationships with our sellers. Some of them have even gone so far as to get cash out on a deal, just like this. And then what they end up doing is reinvesting their money with us as hard money lenders. So we'll give them either a cash out on their property or a lump sum down and an owner finance. And what we will do is we will then build a good enough relationship where they become lenders or investors to us. That's the most important thing with closing these deals that's different than a lot of other industries, is you got to build a relationship with the seller. Because a lot of the times these deals, maybe they ran their business out of them, maybe it was something that they built, but they're connected to it emotionally. And so we go in and we figure out what their pain points are, and we figure out a way to make it work for them and make it work for us.